Hello, fairies and nerds, and welcome back. It's finally here, the the fourth piece in my Hogwarts punk set. This is Gryffincore. Before I get into it, let me just say that if anyone has a better idea for a name for this piece than Gryffincore that stays in line with the names of the other pieces, please let me know in the comments, because I'm just really, I don't feel like that name is quite right. So if you have a better idea that sticks with the same parameters of Raven Clash, Hufflepunk, and Slither Riot, please let me know and maybe I'll change it. Then again, maybe not. So in today's video, while you watch this speed paint, I want to talk about what to do if you don't like a piece. Because overall, I am not very happy with the way this piece turned out, which is kind of a letdown after I was so thrilled with the way Slither Riot turned out. I feel like this one just sort of fought me from the very beginning, which I think is why this video is so much longer. Like, I did a lot of editing to increase the time-lapse speed, and I cut some stuff, and yet it's still a fairly long video. So if you watch the whole thing, I really appreciate that. But yeah, I felt like this piece, it just fought me, you know, and like, I drew one initial sketch, one initial pose, and I was just like, this is not right, because it was a very awkward pose. It was awkward to draw. I did not render it very well. So I scrapped it and picked another pose. And one problem I had, I use reference for all of my poses so that I can hopefully get the proportions and everything correct. I had a really hard time finding a pose for this piece, because it is a series, you know, there's a set of 4 images. I want them to have a unity in the way they look. So I wanted the poses to be similar, i.e. they're all standing poses, you know, nobody's sitting, nobody's crouching, they're all standing poses. But I also wanted there to be enough differentiation between each of the poses that you could see that they were different characters, they were different iterations. And Gryffincore just gave me a lot of problems. So after the initial pose that was very awkward and didn't work out, I decided to do it again, find a different pose, and it took me a long time to find a pose that I felt worked even a little bit. So yeah, I drew the initial sketch twice, and when I got this sketch that I'm working on here into Photoshop, I looked at it and I was like, yeah, I'm still not really that happy with it. I picked up on a lot of details that when I was drawing it, I didn't really pick up on, and I was just like, okay, I'll have to try to fix them with the digital paint. One thing I do like about this pose is the way her jacket is sort of draped over her shoulders. It sort of looks like a cape, and I think with the traditional Gryffindor characteristics and values, I think that's pretty on point. Another thing that I fought with on this one was just like figuring out the right colors. I don't know, I'm just not thrilled with some of it. I mean, you basically have two options. You can either just scrap it and say, forget about it, I'm not going to work on this anymore. Or you can sort of power through and finish it. And because this was the last in a set, I wanted to finish it. I wanted to have a completed 4-piece set, you know, to go with this theme of Hogwarts punk. So I didn't want to give up on it. I also didn't want to draw it again. I was just, I mean, I like this pose. Like I said, the cape sort of aspect I think fits really well with the idea of Gryffindors. So I do quite like that. But yeah, that's your basic options when you're working on something and you're just like, I'm not sure how I feel about this. You either give it up and do something else, or you power through. And I wanted to power through because I wanted to have this set complete, because I really like it as a whole. When I started the painting, one thing I noticed that I really didn't like was the way her face had turned out. It just did not look right. It didn't look proportional. The positioning wasn't right, and so I had to manipulate that a lot in the digital painting portion in order to make it look more appropriate, more realistic. I'm still not thrilled with it. I feel like it's just not quite right. A lot of what I don't like about this piece are like the details. So like, for example, after I finished, I realized her sunglasses on the side of her face away from the viewer, the perspective is not quite right, and that bothers me. Other details like her hands bug me. I'm not great with hands. It's one of the areas I struggle with, and you'll notice when we get closer to it, initially the wand was in her left hand, but because I like the way that hand turned out better than the right hand, I moved the wand to the right hand to sort of mask some of the difficulties I had with that hand. Another area where I felt like sort of this painting was just like fighting me was when I started working on her top, not the jacket but the actual shirt. When I started doing the shadows and highlights, I mean, I really struggled to blend those out, and they just did not want to blend out the way that I envisioned. So I struggled with that, and I fought with it for a while. Side note, if you see my volume control every so often, while I was painting this, I was listening to the soundtrack from Hamilton. I actually got to go see Hamilton as I'm recording this voiceover. It's been about a week since I've seen it. And if you get the opportunity, I absolutely recommend going to see it. It was so good, and the performers should get the highest props because Hamilton is almost literally non-stop musical performances. There are only a small handful of spoken lines in the entire show. So, I mean, they literally go from song to song to song to song. And it's so good. And so, yeah, if you get the opportunity, absolutely take it and go see it. I want to go see it again. I will probably not be able to get tickets. Well, I know I won't be able to get tickets even though it's here for another couple of weeks because all the shows are sold out. So, yeah, I know that will not be happening. But when it comes back, I plan to do what I can to see it again. So, absolutely recommend that. I also really struggled finding the right color balance for the Gryffindor colors. Especially, as you can see, I'm really messing around a lot with the plaid, trying to get the right color, and when you see the background, I'm not totally thrilled with what colors I picked for that. Not because they're not the right colors, something about this piece is just very, the colors are very hard to balance. As you noticed in the beginning, I started out making her top red, and I was going to make the jacket black, or like a black leather jacket. And then I was like, no, her jacket should be red. I just felt that. And I really like the way her jacket turned out. I think it looks really good. But trying to find the right color balance between the different reds and, staying true to the Gryffindor color palette was difficult. Again, I had issues for some reason blending out certain colors, like in the pants. Once you put the plaid back over it, though, it helped a lot. But like in her top, I feel like it sort of looks like she has a stain on it, and that bugs me. But I can't really figure out how to make it any better. So I just went with it. And sometimes you have to just embrace what is finished. And it's like that saying, the opposite or the enemy of it's perfection is the enemy of good. You can work on something and it can be good, but because you think, oh, it's not perfect, then you don't share it. And that's a struggle I've had. I am a perfectionist. And so sometimes I just have to go, you know what? It's good enough. And that's the thing. As an artist, we are definitely our own worst critics. I've had pieces that I've done and I'm like, ugh, this isn't that great. Nobody's going to like it. And then I show it to someone and I don't tell them my particular feelings. I don't try to talk them out of liking something I've made. And they'll be really happy with it. And they'll be like, wow, this is so good. This is, you're so talented. And you have to realize that if you're creating art for the consumption of other people, if you're not creating art in a vacuum, i.e., if you're not creating art only to look at it by yourself, for yourself, alone in a room, then you have to realize that most people will not see the imperfections that you see unless you point them out like I'm doing in this video. So, yeah. You don't have to tell me oh, this isn't working, this isn't working. Believe me, I see all the imperfections. I know exactly what isn't working. Since we're at this point, I'm not thrilled with her hair either. I don't know what happened. I don't have a reason. It just, ugh. I just sort of did something with it. I don't know. I think my problem was the initial shape of the hair just wasn't right, and I didn't fix that, and I should have. So I went with this shape of the hair, when I say shape of the hair, I mean the whole body of hair as a single shape. It just wasn't what it should be, and I didn't fix it, and I should have. That's on me. But like I was saying, when you're creating art that will be seen by other people, the majority of those other people are not going to see the mistakes that you see. And even if they do, they're probably not going to bring them up to you. I found that the people who look at your work and bring up the mistakes to you they fall into a few different camps. One camp is they are just incredibly ballsy and they just, you know, think they have the right to critique your artwork. One camp is they just aren't aware that maybe this is not a good thing to do. And, you know, the other camp is they are know-it-alls and they think they know better. And so I try to not listen to those kind of critiques of my work and just, you know, do my own critique. And again, I am my own worst critic, and you will find that to be true with most creators. They will, you know, tear themselves down a million times more harshly than anyone else can. But, you know, the important thing is I finished it. And I finished the whole set, and you can check out the other videos and, you know, see the different characters I created for this set. And if you like it, let me know in the comments. If you don't like it, I really don't care, because I don't like it either. Which is ridiculous to say, but it's true. Please don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, like my other videos, subscribe to my channel. Be sure to hit the notification bell so that you can get a notification every time I add a new video, which is right now once a week. We'll see if I can keep up that pace. So thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I helped you not be so hard on yourself if you're an artist. It's very easy to be hard on yourself if you're an artist, so be nice to yourself. You're not perfect, and you don't have to be, and people will look at your work and think it's perfect even if you don't. I'll see you guys next time.